Hey guys, welcome to day 21 of Hot Topics and Cool Drinks. This event is created exclusively for adults 50 and over, especially for those of us who are corporate executives, past or present, entrepreneurs, educators, and family stewards, parts of households that have invested in private education, and people who understand that values, not trends, is what guide families. Each evening, we gather here to center ourselves in clarity and conversation, and every night includes a featured book that aligns with purpose, legacy, and awareness, a wellness tip for women who are navigating menopause, a business corner for executives transitioning into entrepreneurship, a hot topic about the world that we live in today, and yes, every evening begins and ends with poetry from my book, She Shines Anyway. I'm your host, Antoinette Wolf, a former corporate executive turned philanthropist, entrepreneur, licensed real estate agent, writer, and mother. And before we begin with poetry, let's look at what we're covering tonight. We're talking about a featured book that promises to change how you see investing. It's called Rule Number One by Phil Town, a hot topic on what financial protection really means for us in today's uncertain economy. A deep menopause minute with actionable strategies for health and energy. And in the business corner, a breakdown of why executives transitioning into entrepreneurship must start treating stock investments not just as personal wealth builders, but also as part of competitive employee packages. Okay, now tonight I'm going to begin with a poem from my book, She Shines Anyway. It's a collection I was able to edit in under 1 hour using AI, something that normally takes me about 4 to 6 weeks with a manuscript that size. And I'm pretty proud of that. And you can find it on Amazon.com or my website, BWellnessCenter.shop. Before I get started with that, though, let's introduce tonight's drink. It's another fever tree drink. This one is sparkling Sicilian lemonade, and it's 40 calories. Normally these are about 35. This one's this one is 40 calories. And yeah, let's do a toast to tonight. Not bad. Not bad. It's a sparkling lemonade. I mean, what can I say? I give it a 6.5. Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead into this book. She Shines Anyway, 76 poems for the woman who refuses to dim her light. This poem here is called My Grandmother's Eyes. I see her in the mirror, not in age or in features, but in fire. In the fearless way I speak up, in the grace that doesn't ask permission. She didn't whisper, she declared. She lifted others while standing tall herself. She made space at tables, but never shrank to fit anyone else's comfort. Her gaze unforgettable. She would freeze nonsense with one look, or warm an entire room with her presence. She was brilliant, sharp like polished glass. She read rooms, read people, read strength between the lines, and still she dazzled. Even in her power, she stayed glamorous, lipstick on, voice clear, generous in spirit, firm in values. I don't just carry her name, I carry her fire, her instincts, her elegance wrapped in strength. I inherited her eyes, yes, but I inherited her mission to speak what matters, shine without apology, and never forget who I am. If you guys like this poem, go to my website, BWellnessCenter.shop. Okay, let's talk about tonight's book, featured book. First, I'm going to have a little sip right here, though. Let me have a little sip. And let's talk about tonight's book. Tonight's featured book is Rule Number One, The Simple Strategy for Successful Investing in Only 15 Minutes a Week by Phil Town. This book is highly recommended. Even Jim Cramer, the outspoken host of CNBC's Mad Money, we talked about him yesterday, has called it the clearest and best book out there to get you on the path to riches. That endorsement matters because Jim Cramer is known for his critical eye on financial advice. And Jim Cramer himself has a new book coming out September 30th, 2025, entitled Get rich carefully anytime, making money work in every market. And it focuses on adaptable strategies for building wealth in volatile times, which is a complement to this book's Town's more streamlined approach. Now, who is Phil Town? Phil Town's journey is fascinating because he's a former U.S. Army Green Beret and river rafting guide, and he transitioned into investing after receiving advice from a client who was a successful financial investor. He went from almost no savings at all to becoming a self-made millionaire, then dedicated his entire life to teaching everyday people how to invest with confidence. Why is he an expert? Well, because he lived both sides, struggling paycheck to paycheck, then learning the discipline and simplicity behind wealth creation. His method takes the intimidating complexity of Wall Street and makes it accessible to those of us managing families, businesses, and legacies. The 15 minutes a day week strategy is built on Warren Buffett's value investing philosophy, but is stripped down into 4 key principles. Number 1, meaning only invest in businesses that you can understand deeply. If you can't explain what that company does and how it makes money, you should not own it. Number 2, moat. The company must have a protective advantage, whether it's brand loyalty, patents, technology, or scale, that competitors can't easily copy. Number 3, management. Look for leaders who are ethical, skilled, and trustworthy. A great company can be destroyed by bad leadership. Number 4, margin of safety. Buy a stock only when it's undervalued compared to intrinsic worth. That protects you against downturns. Instead of overwhelming you with constant trading, Phil Town shows how to identify a handful of quality companies, track them weekly, and make disciplined moves, 15 minutes at a time. Okay? So that's this book. And as you guys can see, this book has gone on some journeys with me. All right? It's been around, baby. It's been around. So I definitely recommend it. This is another book that I do not carry personally, but you can find it on Amazon, at Barnes & Noble's, Books A Millions, and places like that. Okay? Again, rule number 1 by Phil Town. The simple strategy for successful investing in only 15 minutes a week. Yes. Let me have a sip of my drink. Let's talk about the hot topic of the night. So, you guys know we've spent much of this month talking about protecting our children online from things like cyberbullying, but protection extends beyond safety. It includes financial protection. For corporate executives, particularly parents who have invested in their families and are now investing in their children's education, this kind of stability is essential. What does that mean? It means that building a financial shield around your household and your business so that you are not vulnerable to sudden shocks. Financial protection is 1, having an emergency fund to weather unexpected costs. Structuring your investments so that they aren't wiped out by a single downturn. Keeping insurance policies that actually protect against loss. Preserving wealth so that your children and grandchildren inherit more than just stories. They inherit a foundation of stability. And why does stability matter so much? Instability creates desperation, and desperation drives bad decisions. A stable financial life gives you choices, confidence, and the ability to say no to things that do not align with your values. For small business owners and executives leaving corporate life, this is the difference between reacting in fear and leading with vision. So a new way of thinking is that this is why we need to teach our children how to approach the online world with a business mindset. When they go online, they should learn to view it through a lens of potential investment and not just entertainment. They should learn to look at influencers not as a role model to be influenced by, but as a business to be analyzed. This mindset shift is crucial for their financial future and your family's stability. By teaching them to ask, is this a smart investment or is this a viable business model? Instead of, why should I buy? You're equipping them with the tools to secure their own financial future. This ensures that the investments your family made in you and that you are now making in your children's education come full circle, creating a legacy of financial security for generations to come. Okay? So that's my take on that for tonight. And let's talk about the menopause minute, because last night we skipped this, but tonight let's dive deep for a moment. We're going to talk about bone health for a second. Bone health. Protect against osteoporosis with calcium, vitamin D, weight-bearing exercise. With the heart health, we're focused on cardiovascular disease risk rises post-menopause. Daily exercise, balanced diet, routine screenings are key. For sleep health, night sweats and insomnia do affect energy, so cooling your sleep environment and adjusting diet does help. Brain health, combat brain fog with hydration, omega-3 fatty acids, and stress reduction. Mood and emotional stability. Hormonal shifts can fuel irritability and depression. Building support networks and practicing mindfulness helps. Now, for the skin and body, collagen declines. Hydration, skincare routines, and sometimes medical treatments can restore confidence. Menopause is not an end, it is a reset, and resets are powerful when done with intention. So guys, here's where we are with Business Corner. The importance of attracting top talent. So starting September 1st, our newsletter will be published every Monday exclusively at BWellnessCenter.shop. You can sign up there, even though the parent company of mine is Wolf Vibrations LLC. Inside, you're going to find strategic planning tools, step-by-step roadmaps for growing a business outside of corporate environment, financial insights like tax strategies, wealth preservation, and smart investing moves, legacy building, how to handle succession, philanthropy, and brand continuity. What executive wellness, practical routines for leader under pressure of transition, and case studies, real world examples of executives who are thriving after corporate life. Now let's talk about stocks. Jim Cramer recently reminded his audience that when he first bought shares of NVIDIA, are y'all familiar with NVIDIA? Let me give you the ticker real quick. So when he bought shares of NVIDIA, which I'm going to give that to you real quick, just in case. He purchased those shares for as little as $2 to $8. Okay, I can't remember which one he said. I couldn't remember if he said $2 or $8, but now it's at $180. Okay, and why does that matter? Because NVIDIA isn't just another company; it's a backbone of the artificial intelligence, which you see is all the rage right now. Everybody's getting on it. Okay. Everybody's getting on it. And it's graphics processing units, which are really called GPUs. Well, we call it GPUs, but it's actually the graphic processing units, the power data centers, the fuel machine learning, accelerate deep learning, and drive the gaming industry. Every time you hear about breakthroughs in AI, from ChatGPT to driving the NVIDIA, chips are somewhere behind the scenes. Okay, the NVIDIA chips, they're around. That's what's pretty much fueling those chips. Okay, fueling those things. So that's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's a big deal, because not everybody can, just like when it goes up to 500, not everybody's going to be able to come in at 500. So get it now where it's low at 180, which is not considered low anymore. But I'm telling you, if you can, get up on it. Okay, so anyway, attracting the best. So for corporate executives transitioning into their own firms, looking at stocks like NVIDIA isn't just about personal wealth, it's about vision. When you're building a new company, it's essential to attract top talent. This is especially critical in today's world, where accessible tools allow everyone to start a business overnight, regardless of their experience. To stand out, you need a competitive edge, and that means acquiring the right people. those with the skills, values, and loyalty to help your business succeed. And one of the best ways to attract this kind of talent is by offering a compelling benefits package. Instead of just a salary, imagine providing employees with a package that includes retirement plans tied to strong companies, like the companies that we've been talking about recently. We've been talking about Amazon, we've been talking about Microsoft, we've been talking about Apple. Tonight we're talking about Nvidia. You know, I heard Jim Cramer the other day also talking about CVS. All right, so getting a retirement plan that is tied to a strong portfolio, a stock portfolio, okay? Having great sign-on bonuses, long-term wealth building programs. By including these types of offerings, you show prospective employees that your firm is built for both success and stability. This demonstrates commitment to their long-term financial well-being, which helps you acquire and retain the top talent needed so that you can truly thrive. All right? Because the idea of us leaving corporate America wasn't so that we can be a slave, even if it is our own business. The point was to go to freedom, all right, to actually allow our legacies to continue to build without us being drained. Okay, so anyway, so that's just something to think about. That is definitely something to think about. All right. Yeah. Let's go on to the poem of the night. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm kind of hyped up now because I was talking about Nvidia, because that is so true. When I realized like, wow, they really are in everything. They really are in everything. And it would be almost foolish to be using these tools, especially these AI tools for our businesses, and not be getting a piece of the pie. All right, so yeah, get you some of that Nvidia. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and close for tonight. The poem of the night, let's see where we are. That was poem 40, so we are on 41. 41. Be nice, no thanks. They told me to be nice, to smile more, to soften my tone so no one would feel uncomfortable. But here's what they never said, that being nice often means being quiet. While people crossed boundaries, that polite was just another word for tolerating what I knew was wrong. I was nice when they disrespected me. I was nice when they took too much. And what did it get me? Exhausted, dismissed, unseen. So no, I won't be nice. I'll be clear, I'll be calm, I'll be firm. Because I wasn't put here to soothe egos or explain myself to be unaware. I don't owe the world a smile when it forgets to respect my name. Nice is a costume I outgrew, and the woman I am now isn't here to be liked. She's here to live free. You guys like that? If you do, please go check it out at BWellnessCenter.shop. Or you can always get it on Amazon too, but you know I prefer BWellnessCenter.shop. Anyway, guys, yeah. That's it for day 21 of Hot Topics and Cool Drinks. Remember, you can find my book where I just shared with you, and that's not the only one. But yeah, go check out BWellnessCenter.shop, all right? And don't forget to sign up for the newsletter that's coming out. And come back tomorrow night for another featured book, another Menopause Minute, and another conversation that keeps us grounded in clarity, legacy, and truth. That's all I have for tonight, guys. Thanks for joining. I'll see you soon. Bye.